I love that score and the open titles when it comes in. I'm filled with like, I don't know, goosebumps or just excitement. Because it's just such an epic and beautiful kind of journey you go on in Lord of the Rings, and it's so well put together, the whole thing. And yeah, even just the music makes me want to just sit there and watch the whole 12 hours of the extended version. Anyway, I broke down the 3 films just more from a filmmaker point of view, and there's a few scenes I just wanted to chat about where they kind of do some interesting things. So starting with the first one here. I love the design of Bilbo's cottage. It's so cozy and beautiful. You kind of want to just move in, you know? It's just, Gandalf's POV and then the reverse of that for the most part. And then it's his POV again when he looks at the map here. But what's interesting is, look what happens next.
I can make you some eggs if you look. Oh.
He's gone.
Just tea, thank you.
So I thought this was interesting because it's kind of known as a bit of a geography cheat in the fact that, we are led to believe as the audience that the character is one place and then it's revealed that he's no longer there. And it's usually used in a way, like if you can imagine a detective show and the good guy is, going through the bad guy's lair, looking for clues, but then we know the bad guy's coming back and we see kind of the bad guy's journey and he's about to open the door and the good guy's about to get caught, but then it's revealed that the good guy's no longer there or whatever. So it's usually used in a way to, create a lot of drama and raise the stakes and stuff. But obviously in this scene, it doesn't do anything like that because Gandalf's not doing anything he shouldn't be doing. And you can say maybe it helps Gandalf's character because he's a magician. But, I don't even know if it's supposed to do anything like that. I honestly think it's just Peter Jackson having a little bit of fun. And that's why I like it. It's just a little bit of a magic trick thrown in there. So I think this next bit is kind of interesting because it just shows us how little you actually need to make these ominous riders scary. So it starts off with the dog barking off screen at something. Then we see the gauntlets and the hooves. And we just see the kind of blackness of the hood. The fear is always like in the unknown, so the less you show, I always think is the better way you can go. And just at the end here, they show you your man passes by again. They're not showing him; he's obscured, and then you see the shadows afterwards pass by as well. And I think what you'll see is like a lot of like really good filmmakers. What they do is they're always trying to obscure a lot of the time the subject of the image or of the scene because it's just more interesting. Like if you can obscure what the audience are trying to see, it usually just creates an interest in the audience about what are you showing us, He just gets flattened. This is pretty cool actually here because the slow motion is a really good use of it. It just kind of makes it really epic and dangerous and, there's your Jurassic Park shot. So this is kind of where they mislead you. So they go to a close-up of the guy sleeping and then there's the wide shot of the guy sleeping here. Those 2 shots we presume are in the same room because why else would you show the close-up and then the wide shot of it? And then obviously they reveal here that, the bad guys are in the room as well. So you think, oh no, this, like, what's going to happen here? Look at that there with the sword, just tracking down the sword. The Dutch tilt, it's great. So then they cut to the close-up of Sam here. It's the bad guy's perspective. He's looking down at Sam. And they stab. And even there, as they stab, you see Sam react. What you think is him getting stabbed, So it's quite a big cheat. It's quite brazen. Like he pushes it quite far. Yeah, I mean, when I first watched it, I was like, oh my God, they just all got murdered. But no, it's just interesting how far he pushes it.
We're gonna pass over the mountain. Let us go under it. Let us go through the mines of Moria.
Moria. You fear to go into those mines. The dwarves delve too greedily and too deep. You know what they awoke in the darkness of Khazad-dûm.
So I thought this was interesting because it's what Gandalf is thinking, but Saruman's saying it. So it's almost like Saruman is Gandalf's voiceover, if that makes sense. And what's interesting about this is because a lot of time with these scenes, you might have an actual voiceover of Gandalf explaining why he doesn't want to go into the mine, or more likely he'll just turn around to a companion and say, but there's dangers down there, blah, blah, blah. And I thought doing it this way was really interesting because it almost sets up like a game of chess between Gandalf and Saruman. It dramatizes or creates conflict out of what really is exposition. So this is the last scene I wanted to look at today, mainly just because there's a really good visual and physical gag where Pippin drops the skeleton down the well, you know. And I just want to kind of talk about how Peter Jackson sets it up, because you'd be surprised, those visual, physical gags, they're actually really hard to make work a lot of the time. It usually takes a lot of filmmaking craft to actually really pull them off. So I think the first reason why this works really well is actually the tone that precedes it, which is obviously to do with Gimli's relatives being killed. So there's obviously a bit of sadness, but for the most part, the scene is kind of, there's fear. There could be enemies lurking around the corner type of thing, and you know, they should be quiet. And what's funny is as Gandalf is reading the demise of the dwarves that lived here, Pippin's getting closer and closer to what will be the visual gag, you know. He has his own story going on. So it's a good counterbalance. One of the best things for comedy is either fear or, you know, something like, you know, awkwardness, or like a place where you shouldn't laugh is always going to be the place where you can't help but laugh. So they're setting up the gag, which is really important. You don't just want to cut to the start of the gag. You know, you really want to preempt something like this.
A shadow moves in the dark. You cannot get out. They are coming.
I just love that, the twist of the arrow and the head pops off. First of all, like, good comedy also as well. Like, there's a surprise element to it. You know, if he just touched the skeleton and the skeleton fell in, it wouldn't be as funny. It has to be unexpected. Good to note here as well, just to make everything work, Gandalf has stopped talking. It's the quietest the scene has been now. The armor falls. The chain goes. The bucket goes. And then you end the gag in his face. I kind of think that's nearly always the funniest part of something like this, is always the reaction. All right, that's me for today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
9 companions. So be it. You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right. Where are we going?